normally everybody heads straight out on track. Some have, but not everybody.
But they're trying to get a real qualifying simulation in. They're trying to go out when the tyres are actually cold, because as we talked about in the break, Jack, even if you cool the tyres down, they're not actually where they would be when you go out and you head out to qualifying later on.
Yeah, after a cool-down lap, and they're doing really slow cool-down laps, the tyres come down to about 60 degrees centigrade, whereas right now, if they did an out lap and then a push lap, it would be 30 or 40 degrees centigrade, so they just can't get them down to that window.
But that's what they're going to experience in group qualifying anyway later on, because it's going to be the laps towards the end of group qualifying which are going to be the quicker ones, when the track's better but the tyres maybe are a bit warmer, and you've really got to judge that well, cool the tyres down and get that one special lap in, because we heard earlier in free practice 1, drivers saying tyres are going off during the lap.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially with that left-hander at turn 17, you don't want the rear tyres to be struggling at that point. And it's mainly the rears, I think, that the heat is struggling with. It's the back end is sliding rather than you're sort of understeering.
Yeah, absolutely. But what you'll have to do for the race is you have to build understeer into the setup so it protects those rear tyres as much as possible for the 45 minutes plus 1 lap. So you're going to end up with a bit of understeer early in the race, but then you're going to feel the rear tyre start to overheat, start to slide around a bit more. And that not only affects the car, you know, in acceleration and cornering, but how much energy the drivers are able to regenerate into the battery, because obviously the more grip, the more pressure you can put into that rear axle and regenerate more energy. So that's going to limit that this afternoon, and the drivers they're up against it. I think it's going to be a fascinating battle. I think it's 45 minute plus a lap race, but I think there's a bit of survival as well.
Maybe a bit of rain, but the forecast says basically it's 50-50 chance. So, and that's kind of how it is in these parts. It either sort of rains or it doesn't. So I guess that is a 50% chance, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks
all
like
very cuey, isn't it? At the before 18.
It looks like it's getting away. Actually, the chance of rain is going later in the afternoon. Lucas Di Grassi bouncing over the bumps into turn 7.
So I think you're right. Everybody's doing an outlap and then just getting straight on it at 250 kilowatts of power, replicating a duel, basically. But even when you're only replicating really the quarter-final, aren't you? Because then once you're into the semis and the finals, your tyres have got that heat in them anyway. Yeah, and also, if you've just come out from qualifying Group B, you're not really replicating that either, because you've just been on those tyres for ages.
And this is where you have to use your experience as a team and as a driver to know exactly what the offset is and what you're searching for the perfect balance for those laps. You see Lucas Di Grassi just at the back end of the car squirming around as he tries to put the power down out of turn 18. 108.7, quickest this morning was a 108.4.
That's reasonable actually, straight out the blocks. And with the track, you would have thought getting a little bit dirtier in the gap between the sessions.
And a lot warmer.
And a lot warmer, yeah.
Yeah, look how dark the asphalt is, and with the sun beating down on that, the track temperature is going to come up so quickly, and that is going to be a real challenge. We talked about these long corners, turns 1, 2, and 3. The cars are now in turn 3. That's one long corner. That's just torturing those left-hand side tyres.
26 minutes to go. Here comes Nick de Vries across the line. Van Dorn now goes fastest. All these lap times flying in as people do their first runs. It's still Di Grassi's time that is holding up. Van Dorn has gone quicker by a 10th, but Di Grassi's still second fastest. Oliver Rowland, who was quickest in free practice 1, now goes 6th quickest. Alexander Sims sliding his way out of the final corner, and he comes across the line and goes 15th quickest. Mitch Evans starting a lap, by the looks of things, in the Jaguar. Down towards turn 1. Here's a look at Da Costa into turn 13. Pretty big lockup.
Yeah, that is sizable. You see him trying to get off the brakes, trying not to flat spot the tyres. These tyres are very robust, and you see the car hitting the ground. He just unloads the inside front just by turning to the right a bit. It unloads the right-hand side tyre, and you see the lockup. So we're now watching Mitch Evans out against the wall, coming down to brake for turn 7. Bouncing around on the brakes. Mitch Evans got such a lovely, smooth driving style. He's got a Porsche ahead of him too, though, which might hold him up. No, nice work from the Porsche to get out of the way.
10th and a half up after sector 1. We'll get his middle sector split as he comes through the right-hander now of 12 and then down into 13. Bit of traffic ahead. He's now half a tenth down on Stoffel Vandoorne, so he's lost a tenth compared to the Belgian in the middle sector.
And this is the bit where you've got to trust the guys around you. Look at this. This is proper rush hour stuff now. And you've got to hope that these guys see you get out of the way, and you've got to commit to it. Oh,
Boy.
Really late stuff. This is dangerous stuff here.
Evans gets ahead of De Vries in the end, comes across the line, and it was a 9th place lap time for Mitch Evans. Lost half a second in that final sector.
Yeah, and he just couldn't commit, Jack, in that final sector because he's feathering the throttle. Is this guy going to get out of my way? And you can see Nick De Vries trying to do the right thing. You've got Sam Bird and the other Jaguar just appearing to the right of the screen, but everybody's trying to do their best to get out of the way, but you just don't know if they've seen you or not, so you cannot fully commit.
And Evans was a bit out of sequence in all of that, wasn't he, doing his lap later than everybody else, so everybody else was slowing down to get a gap again. Less than 24 minutes to go. Vandoorne fastest, De Grassi second, Buemi third, Gunter fourth, Turvey fifth. And this is Andre Lotterer, who's at full power, coming past them all on his left-hand side, and right up to the wall on the exit, and he's got a tenth and a half. Back end going, front end locking, kind of got it in.
Yeah, kind of, but the trajectory was wrong. The car was pointing more at the outside wall than through the corner, so he might have lost a bit of time there.
Through 11 and 12.
Oh, traffic again.
He's 2 tenths down now, sailing into turn 13.
Yeah, looked good through the middle of 13. Let's see how much understeer he's got in 16. The banked corner. Oh, I missed the apex.
Yeah. So I think the time is sliding away here for Andre Lotterer into the final corner. Sete Camera goes third quickest in the Dragon. Lotterer goes from 20th up into 17th. So he lost quite a lot of time. 7 tenths in that final sector, pretty much.
He's been a qualifying machine this year.
Yeah. Here's Freitz. Whee!
Oh, God, that is commitment right there.
Cassidy was slowing down. Verne was going around Cassidy. Freitz was going around them both. He's got a lock-up here and wide at 16.
Yeah, he got a bit unsighted by the Nissan ahead of him. This is crazy right now. I don't know if I've seen it quite as tough as this before.
Freitz across the line, 21st at the moment, and remains 21st, 1.3 seconds down. But had a lot of traffic and a lot of errors on that lap, Robin Freitz.
And I think those errors were helped along by that traffic, Jack.
.2 minutes to go. Vandoorne returns to the pit lane. So the Camera, Bird, Verline, De Vries and Askew all have already. And here comes Sebastian Buemi, Max Gunter. His teammate Buemi was second quickest in first practice. Gunter ended the session 18th quickest, but didn't actually get a lap in at full power. So that explains certainly some of the deficit to his teammate. He's not at full power here. And after the middle sector, he's 2.2 seconds away from Stoffel Vandoorne. Up into the final corner. Turn 16.
In turn 16, it's another one of those corners with a curved braking zone. The car is straight for a minute percentage of this lap, which makes it difficult for the drivers, but also just tortures the tyre. And I think we'll only realise how much when we get into the race later this afternoon.
Giovinazzi starts a lap. He's 22nd at the moment. His teammate Sede Camera third quickest. He's not at full power here, Antonio Giovinazzi, as he comes into 2 and then 3.
Interesting, not a massively wide entry into turn 3. I thought he would take a wider entry there to open up the exit.
8 tenths down in sector 1. Now into turn 7. Through 8, which becomes 9, which then flicks back left into 10. The Porsche of Verline up ahead and keeps out of the way as Giovinazzi comes through. He's now, the governor was saying the other day, to improve the eco-friendly nature of the city and to improve the sustainability of the city, and traffic is a bad issue in Jakarta. Here comes Bird that we're on board with into the final corner. He's getting some traffic, and
Da Costa's on a lap. Da Costa 21st quickest right now, about 2.5 tenths up.
Verne's on a lap as well. Jean-Eric Verne's going quicker. The checker flag is ready. Mortara comes across the line. He goes third quickest, but look at Jean-Eric Verne, 4 tenths up on Jake Dennis after the middle sector. Da Costa goes quickest, the 1 minute 7.993. The DS to Cheetahs flexing in the final minutes of free practice 2. Verne through the final corner, out across the line. DS to Cheetah 1-2. 4 tenths, Verne ahead of Da Costa.
Yeah, that's a massive margin.
That was where Da Costa lost some time in the final sector, so that's why he was 2 tenths slower than Verne. Still to go second quickest with that huge moment is quite something.
Yeah, absolutely, Jack, and like you say, DS to Cheetah waiting till the end, and then there you go, 1-2.
No wonder they're all chuckling, having a bit of a laugh.
James Barkley looks very serious.
4th quickest for Mitch Evans, and I think everybody has completed their laps now.
If I'm sitting there as a driver right now, thinking if I'm Sam Bird, Mitch Evans, I'm thinking, if I can tie a lap together, Jake Dennis too, if I can do a clean lap, I've got a shot. I've got a shot not only at getting the duels, but at pole position too.
Neo ended up 6th and 7th.
That's really good to see.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see what happens come qualifying a little bit later on. But Jean-Eric Verne is the driver who ends the session fastest. The 1 minute 7